I ordered that bag and it arrived and I unpacked it and it looked like a car had driven over it. Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel, to my little corner of the internet here where we talk about luxury designer handbags. So for today's video I have like a story time and it's all about Vestiaire Collective, and I want to talk to you about Vestiaire Collective from a seller's perspective and from a buyer's perspective. And I think it's going to be quite interesting for everyone out there who's also thinking about maybe buying pre-loved, and also for those people who are thinking of maybe letting go of a couple of their bags and wanting to sell them and which platform to choose and so on and so on. So what is Vestiaire Collective? Vestiaire Collective is a platform where you can choose to sell your items or choose to buy vintage and pre-loved designer handbags and other items. You can buy basically everything. SLGs, clothing, shoes. I'm always only like focused on bags. That's why I always only go there to look for bags and also to sell my own bags, and I've been doing so for the past 3 years. I started as a sole trader. It's my little like side hobby, to sell luxury designer handbags, to source them, to sell them, and so on and so on. So I do have a lot of experience with them. I have, I would say 90% of my Vestiaire Collective experience is from a seller's kind of perspective, and I have to say that they are amazing. I've only had positive experience when it comes to selling on there. Well, buying is a different story, and that's what this video is about, but let's focus on the positives first. So if you want to sell with Vestiaire Collective, you're in the right place. So what you basically do is you just take some pictures, and actually I've decided to let 2 of my bags go. So if you haven't seen my review on these bags yet, you can go and check that one out. However, I've decided that I'm going to sell my Saint Laurent bag simply because, I don't know, I have this whole OCD thing going on in my brain, and I'm always like looking at my handbag collection and evaluating it, and I was like, I don't think that I want to have Saint Laurent in there. Saint Laurent is a great brand. I did really enjoy having those bags in my collection. I was wearing them quite a bit, but I think it's time to, let go of certain items. I've never really been a clutch person, and it's a beautiful, beautiful clutch, and you can fit a lot in here. I've also done a what fits inside my bag video. But there are other bags, that I want to buy, that I want to add to my collection, and I think for that it's always good to, get rid of a little bit of dead wood that you're not using that often and that you're not enjoying as much as you might enjoy some of your other items, some of your other bags in your collection. So yeah, I've decided to sell my YSL Uptown pouch, and this one has already sold on Vestiaire Collective within like a day, so that's a huge plus point. And I'm going to talk to you about how everything works in a little bit. But yeah, so I put this on, sold within a day, and yeah, it's going to go to its new owner and it will hopefully be loved and cherished there. And then I'm also currently still selling this YSL clutch, pyramid clutch. It's pretty nice. I really like the way it's constructed. I think it's pretty smart. However, nothing fits in here. Like, you can't fit a phone in here, you can't fit a brush in here. You can maybe fit your card holder, a lipstick and your keys, and that's it. It's still absolutely in awesome condition. If you sell something on Vestiaire Collective, you have to basically say, okay, is it completely new with tags? Is it new? Is the item new, so it's never been worn, there are no defects, etc.? Is it in very good condition, which is an item that has almost never been worn and there are no defects? Is it in good condition, which means there might be some defects and they have to be stated and you basically have to show them in the pictures. And then the last category is fair, I think. I've never looked into any items that were in fair condition. I've never sold any items that were in fair condition. And fair condition I would advise not to buy most of the time. They are actually in pretty bad condition. It's just a nicer word. So yeah, like I said, currently selling those 2. I've also sold this one. I don't know, it's like more of a lower end high street designer brand called Gaia. So I've sold this one as well within like probably 12 hours of putting it up. So it's pretty amazing. This one is up now for 2 days. I've had, I think, 4 offers, so that's also something that happens on Vestiaire. you can, if you want to buy something, you can suggest an offer to that person and see if they accept it or not. And if you are the seller, then you can decide if how fast do you want to sell the item immediately. Then maybe you have to accept an offer that's a little bit below of what you were imagining. But it's amazing. So I'm a big fan of Vestiaire Collective when it comes to selling. Over the past 3 years, I think I've sold around 30 items, 30 bags on Vestiaire Collective. You can probably go and find my profile on there as well. And yeah, I've been loving it, because whenever, I either want to sell one of my bags or I want to sell a bag that I've been sourcing for my sole trader business, I just go on there if I can't sell it in person. And their commission fee has actually been reduced over the past year or so, so it's worth it even more now to sell your bags on there instead of, consigning them or going to one of your local reseller shops, because most of the time they actually take 50%. So it's quite a lot, of course. On Vestiaire Collective it ranges depending on how much your item costs, but just go and check them out. It's definitely, I love them. So you basically take pictures of your bag, you put them up, and that's it. Within a day or sometimes even within 12 hours they approve them, they edit the pictures and they put it up, and you get likes, somebody might add it to their favorites, to their wish list, you get offers. And most of my items, when I put them up there, they actually sell within a day or two. And then you basically send it off, and once the authentication has happened at Vestiaire Collective, they then send it to the buyer and you get paid as soon as it's sent off. So, I've never had any problems. It was always amazing. You basically get a prepaid shipping label if you sell something, you print it, you call DHL, UPS, they come and collect it, and that's your work done. And then you just wait for Vestiaire to basically go through the process, send it off, and you get paid. So absolutely amazing. From a seller's perspective, I can only recommend it. Let's talk about the buyer's perspective, and that's a different story to tell. So far I've only had one experience with them when it comes to buying a bag. I've bought a pair of Dior earrings once, but let's not talk about that. Everything was fine with this. But yeah, I wanted to buy a vintage Louis Vuitton Alma bag from my birth year. And I found one, and I will put the picture up here, and it looked amazing. It looked really stunning, it looked in awesome condition, it had a really nice patina and in good shape, and very structured still for a vintage bag. That's something I pay a lot of attention to when I decide to buy my bags. And I was like, yeah, it's amazing. Price was like, I think £450, and I was like, yeah, okay, I'm gonna get it. Because I wanted an Alma for so long, and now I do have one, a new one that I've recently got in the mail. However, I ordered that bag and it arrived, and I unpacked it, and it looked like a car had driven over it. And I'm not kidding, it looked absolutely horrible, and I was shocked when I unpacked it. I don't even know how it has gotten through not the authentication process, but the quality control from Vestiaire Collective. Obviously, this bag was not the bag that was displayed when I bought it, and I could even I did even count the stars and the LVs on the monogram, and I've basically shown them that there was different spacing in between the handles and the stars, for example, so you could see it wasn't even the same bag. It was an authentic bag, but it wasn't the same bag. And so what somebody had done basically was taking some nice pictures of a vintage Alma, putting it up, and then sending you a horrible condition bag, and I don't know how it gotten through a Vestiaire Collective. However, I was like, what the hell? What do I do now? So I wrote Vestiaire Collective, I reported the issue, and you can do that easily. And the thing is, there are different sections in terms of sellers. You have private sellers on Vestiaire Collective, and you have professional sellers. I'm a private seller myself, so I can't really say anything against private sellers, but I will tell you what to look out for. So if you buy from a private seller, you basically buy the item and it's yours. You cannot send it back, you cannot get a refund, except for if it would turn out not to be authentic. and that's it. You know, if you want to get rid of the bag again because you don't like it, or you can't really use it for your lifestyle, then you basically have to sell it again, and you could do that on Vestiaire Collective as well. If you buy from a professional seller, you have 14 days once you've received the item to check everything is okay, to check if you like it, and for whatever reason you can then decide within those 14 days to just send the bag back to Vestiaire Collective and get a full refund. So the bag I bought, that bag that looked like a car had driven over it, I bought unfortunately from a private seller. So basically you're stuck with the bag, and you have then to decide, okay, I'm gonna sell it again. But I mean, if I would take pictures of that bag, who would buy it? Nobody. And so I contacted Vestiaire, and I was like, hey, you know, if you really look closely, it's not even the same bag. You can see it, like where the handles are stitched into the monogram and so on and so on. I mean, I'm very OCD. I had to explain it in a way that people, you know, I mean, maybe they thought I'm crazy, but it doesn't matter. So I've explained to them, and they were like, the response I got was a little bit worrisome. They said, yeah, usually, of course, we would not take a bag back if it's, you know, if it's sold via private seller. But because you've been such a good seller with us for so many years now as well, we're making an exemption, and you know, you get a full refund, and just send us the bag back. And I don't know what they have done with the bag. I mean, they can't send it back to the seller, so I guess they took the money out of their own pocket to refund me, and I was very happy with that, of course. But I thought, wow, so if I would have not been a seller with you for a couple of years, does it mean I would have not gotten a refund, even though that was obviously not the bag I ordered? So this is something you have to take into consideration. You have to do a lot of research. How many bags, how many items has your private seller, if you decide to buy from one, sold in the past? What's the reviews? What's the comments on the items that were sold? You know, has anybody complained about anything? You know, within what time frame has that seller been on Vestiaire? Maybe Google them on Instagram. A lot of private sellers have Instagram as well. So see, you know, how legit basically does it look to you, and how trustworthy do you feel this person is? If you can avoid private sellers and you want to be 100% sure, I mean, do that. I could completely understand that. You know, I would probably also prefer to buy from a professional seller now. However, if there's a bag that's really, really rare and I really want it, then I think I take the risk again. But yeah, we get into that because I actually did order a new bag from Vestiaire Collective. But yeah, my point is basically, professional seller, you're safe. You know, you can just wait until you get the item, look at it, and if you don't like it, just send it back and get a full refund without any trouble. And they will just take it back and refund you. So it's definitely something to think about if you decide to buy an item on Vestiaire, and Vestiaire has such a great range of bags. It's absolutely fantastic. I mean, not even Fashionphile can compete with them, obviously, because Fashionphile is a privately owned company, whereas Vestiaire is just a platform where people put up, you know, bags from all around the world. So of course they do have way better choice. But this is, you know, take a moment and look if the bag you want to buy is from a private seller or a professional seller, and then if it is from a private seller, make sure that they are legit, and look at reviews, look at comments on items they've sold before, just to be 100% sure. So yeah, that was my story about Vestiaire Collective. I have actually found a beautiful vintage, it's not vintage yet, it's not 20 years old yet, but like a pre-loved Bulgari Serpentine Forever bag in the green Karung skin. And I always wanted to have like a water snake Karung Bulgari bag, and they are at ridiculous prices nowadays as well, because Bulgari had a price increase, a big price jump recently too, and I think they are around £3,000 now, even going up to £3,500 depending on what model you're picking. And I found a pre-loved version, and it's so incredibly beautiful, and I can't wait. It's in the emerald green Karung skin, and I can't wait to get that bag, and I will of course show you and do an unboxing. But yeah, hopefully my experience this time will be better, because I did buy it from a private seller again, but that private seller had sold like 136 items before. She responded to all my questions. She uploaded more pictures, you know. I know the bag has a little scratch like at the front. Yeah, my ring light just died again. Let's just finish the video. So I knew it has a little scratch at the front, and I'm usually pretty good at like buffing scratches out, so we see how bad it is when I get the bag, but you will see that. And yeah, what can I say? I'm very excited about that. I hope that my experience now will be better. I give them a second shot, a second try. And yeah, I hope that you do know now what to look out for if you consider buying from Vestiaire Collective, and if you consider selling, good for you. I can only highly recommend it. It's very easy, you get paid very quickly, and yeah, it's absolutely fantastic. Okay guys, so I hope that you liked today's video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. Join our little handbag obsessed family here, and yeah, I hope you have a wonderful day, and I see you guys soon. Bye!